how wide the gap is. There's not a player on Michigan's football team that would start at Ohio State. Not one. There's not one right now. That's how wide the gap is.
Wow. Now, is that based on the number of stars each player has, or just the eye test, or their playmaking ability?
All three. They're maybe the guy from Oklahoma, maybe, but Seven Banks played really well last year, and Cam Brown tore his Achilles. So, and he was playing pretty well before he tore his Achilles in the Penn State game. So, I can't remember the kid's name. He's a DB from Oklahoma.
Daxton Hill?
Daxton Hill, yeah. Besides him, he might be the only one, and that's a maybe. That's a maybe. We don't even know. We don't know how good he is because I think the rest of the defense is not very good. So if he just stands out because the rest of the defense is not, I just don't know. I don't know, and I don't even know if he fit what Ohio State does scheme-wise defensively. So, yeah, I don't see one. He might be the closest one, but outside of that, I don't see one.
Okay. But Michigan fan, it's also important to note that Alex says that Ohio State is in front of Lightyears in front of the entire Big Ten.
10. I say 10.
10 what?
10 years.
Oh, geez.
10 years.
Okay.
It's gonna and that's not necessarily to beat Ohio State, right? That is to be the caliber program that Ohio State is. That's what I'm saying. So, like, any team can beat a random team any Saturday. It's possible, right? But is it possible to basically be the top three programs in the country? That's what Ohio State is. It's the top three program in the country. It's Alabama, them, and Clemson, or however you want to mix it up. But right now, Alabama's king, and then you have Clemson, you have Ohio State, and then there's everybody else. So, to kind of climb that gauntlet to reach Ohio State, you have to go through levels. And I think people just like, oh, you get a top 5 recruiting class, then you're fine. No, well, what happens if you fail in that top 5 recruiting class? What happens if you get players that transfer out? What happens if you have sanctions? What happens if you have scholarship problems? What happens if you just don't play well, or the players don't mesh well, or then you have coaches leave? So, it takes a long time to get the machine running like Ohio State, Alabama, and Clemson to kind of go the way that it's going. It takes a lot. It takes a long time to get it going at that pace. So where people are they're just looking at the brand of Ohio State because they put players in the NFL. So before you even get to what the school offers you, et cetera, because I think once you're in the top 3, they pretty much offer you all the same thing. It's just about fit and where you want to play. And for Michigan, they're trying to sell a bunch of different things. Well, Ohio State really has to sell maybe 1 or 2, and those 1 or 2 will sell 9 out of 10 times every single time. Like, we don't have to do commercials. Commercials are cute, but we don't have to do them. You say Ohio State, it sells itself just by saying it. You know what you're getting.
Alex, did you say commercial?
Don't do it.
And then you want to watch it again? All right. I won't pull it up again for now. I won't do it.
Play it on the outro.
Wolf 58 says, "Good luck with that. It's like a Grand Canyon-sized gap."
It's pretty big. It's. I mean, I almost feel like it's turning into a Clemson situation. The ACC is so bad because Clemson is so good. I kind of feel like that's what it's almost turning into, except Wisconsin is always tough. Wisconsin, I can't remember the coach's name, but man, he runs whatever they're doing down there. Man, they produce offensive linemen, linebackers, and a decent running back every couple of years. And tight ends. So, like, when you think Wisconsin, you automatically think okay, if I'm an offensive lineman, I want to go there because they put offensive linemen in the NFL.
Yeah.
If I'm a tight end, they put good tight ends in the NFL. And if I'm a linebacker, they always have solid linebackers. And then, going back to like Monty Ball, Ron Dane, or Ron Dane, then Monty Ball, and kind of going forward from there, they always have a really, really good running back. A third, like a 3-down back, not necessarily a specialist. Like they always have 3-down running backs at their program. So, they're impressive, but outside of Wisconsin, I think the rest of the Big Ten is just not very good. I think they're definitely coming up though, but that gap, it could easily, if teams don't step up and take the initiative to kind of take steps forward, it could easily turn into an ACC situation, which I don't want to see. Because you had the influx of players at Penn State that have left, opted out. You had Minnesota that had an up year; they were really bad last year. You had Michigan, who's typically a top 10 team; they were 2-4 last year. Indiana's on the rise. You have Northwestern, but Northwestern's like good every 4 or 5 years, pretty much. They're one of those programs where they build from within. They're really, really smart how they recruit, and they coach their players up and they develop players, which I respect. I love, I think his name is Fitzgerald or Fitzpatrick. I can't remember the coach's name of Northwestern, but he does a really great job out there. But
Pat Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Pat Fitzgerald. So, they do a really good job, and it's Northwestern. Northwestern is it's a journalism school, right? It's like one of the best journalism schools in the country. So
yeah.
They to have that, to have the commitment to the football program that they have there is really great. Fitzgerald does a great job. So I just think I definitely can see it trending up, but I can also see how easy it can go backwards, just with Ohio State's dominance. And I just don't think that's good from a conference standpoint. So especially with Michigan, I've said it before, the only thing I really want is the Michigan to be good. You don't have to be relevant, but just be competitive. And I don't think they're even competitive at this point.
Okay, I think you already answered this one. Wolf 58 says, how many players from Michigan's team could start at OSU?
Goose egg.
Let's Toast Media says, Wolf 58, we going to be ready this year. 11. So I think he thinks 11 could start at Ohio State.
You're right. You are right. We could take 11 water boys from Michigan. You are right. We'll take 11. You're right.
See, I'm not going to trash talk until the team turns it around. So I'm just going to let these go. It's not that I agree, but I'm just going to let it go because it's futile. How does the Borg say on Star Trek? Resistance is futile.
Resistance is futile.
I can't back it up right now.
I would say, I think every player could start at Michigan. I don't think there's not one that could start. There's not one. I don't see. I think the one question that we will maybe have is the linebacker core, because Ohio State just lost 4 linebackers who were all seniors.
Mm-hmm.
But, and they're bringing in they have guys who've played a bunch, but they've never started. So that's going to be different for them. So that might be the only question. But from a recruiting standpoint, just looking at it, the playing time, I probably would take those guys over, I would say this, at least as of right now, oh my gosh, I can't remember the guy's name, but I see his face. The coach, he used to be the linebacker coach at Michigan.
Was it Al Hall?
Yeah, Al Washington.
Al Washington.
Al Washington has the linebackers playing downhill. They play in space. They read and react, and they're always in the right position to make a tackle. I can't say that about Michigan's linebackers right now, which is probably why I take Ohio State's linebackers, even though none of them have started. I would probably take those linebackers over Michigan's linebackers right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I have to give it to you guys, man. There's just something about that song that does get you pumped up. I got to give it to you guys.